this video, I feel, is going to be really, like, very interesting because it's something that I've, number one, not really touched on before, and I'll explain why. But two, I'm so interested in what you think about it. Is it just me? Right, okay, so let's get into it. The reptilians. It seems like there is a lot of talk at the moment on the internet, and I don't know whether it's the algorithm, you know, when you start typing in things or you see things and you like things, it gives you more. But it seems like there's a lot of talk at the moment about reptilians. Now, for me, I think the first time it was pushed to the general public in mainstream was when David Icke went onto the Terry Wogan show back in 1991 and, you know, mentioned this, and everybody laughed at him and he was ridiculed, and it did do a massive turnaround to his life in a positive way, I would say, because I've seen an interview and he says, well, since then I've basically not let it get to me, and I've done massive amount of books, I've got talk shows and all this sort of stuff. He's going around the world, and obviously you know David Icke, right? But the reason why I'm on the fence about it is because it's so extreme, it's so weird. My mind is saying, like, this can't be true, right? However, what I will say, I'm not saying that because I want to be on the fence, because it's easier to be in the middle and not saying yes I believe or no I don't believe. I genuinely don't know, right? That, you know, reptilians are once upon a time there, or they're actually here among us, and this is the story right now, that they're here among us. These reptilians are here among us, so we don't see them, okay? But what I will say is I do believe that there is more to our history, the human race, than we're told or we're led to believe. I do think, you know, the Anunnaki, the pyramids, the ancient Egyptians, there's something about that needs to be explained, and there needs to be more light shone on it, okay? And I've got a few videos here that might answer a few questions, like maybe shed a few bits of light to you. But my biggest flaw in the reptilian story of reptilians are among us, right, is that everybody has a history. If you think you've captured somebody on television who's a reptilian, when their eyes flicker, well, that person probably has photographs of when they were a child, when they were born. Do they know that they're reptilian? Does that mean their mums and dads were reptilian? Do they know? You know, was it just on their 18th birthday? By the way, this secret, you're that reptilian, but you got to keep it to yourself. Like, everyone's got a history that they can go back to, photographs, videos, you know, past jobs, like, so that part of it doesn't make sense unless somebody's turned to a reptilian. This video is not about David Icke, but we're going to start off with a David Icke video here because it leads on to something else. David spent years going around the world actually researching and speaking to different cultures, different people about his ideas, and getting more and more information, not just about reptilians, but about everything, right? Okay? So listen to this here. This is David Icke talking about a gentleman that he met many years ago.
Bill Gates. Talking of reptilians, I spent many weeks over many years with the great Zulu high shaman and historian Credo Mutwa. He described to me in great detail in a video we made together how a reptilian race, which he called the Chitahuri, has been manipulating humanity for eons.
One of the most secret stories that was revealed to me is about these beings, highly intelligent beings, which they called the Chitauri, the talkers, a race of creatures which look like reptiles, who have ruled the world for hundreds, if not thousands of years. When the Chitauri arrived in Africa, they told our people that they were gods and that they were going to give us human beings great gifts on one condition. We had to worship them and accept them as our creator.
That's crazy. And when he was saying that, it reminded me of a story of the Roswell, I think it was, where there is an idea that there was an exchange of technology for humans. Okay, they were like, yeah, we can give you technology. And this is where this big digital boom and analog boom went crazy. But in return, there had to be like given these, well, humans, like I say. Now, I've got this video here. This interests me so much, it really does. And throughout this video, it's going to go on to more modern day sort of ideas, right? Okay, up into the present time. So here's a bit more of the South African Zulu shaman Credo Muta, what he talks about, okay? This is mad stuff.
These creatures are harvesting us. These creatures are not aliens, Mr. Ike. These creatures are sexually compatible with our women. And what does that tell you? It tells you that they came from here. They are part of us. African tradition says that the Chitauri fatten on the energy that we human beings give them. They make us to fight each other. And when the whole land is drowning in death and fear and terror, when hundreds and hundreds of people are angry and afraid, the Chitauri get fed because they eat that what we call the dark power, which is brought about when human beings destroy the planet on which they live.
That's mad. That reminds me of the cartoon film Monsters, right? When kids they scream and get a fear, it feeds the monsters. Isn't that? I think that you tell me. I think that's linked to another type of demon, right? That they're fed by anger. They're fed by, what is that? Let me just. I'm just doing a side quest here a minute. Hang on 1 second. Oh, various demonic entities, spirits, and mythological creatures are known to feed off of human fear, anxiety, and trauma to increase their power or maintain existence. Prominent examples include the Greek spirit Phobos, shadow creatures, the nightmare-inducing mare, nightmare, and demonic fear eaters. Like these things, I'm sure. Like, I do believe that everything, all this mythology and creatures and, the Loch Ness Monster, the Bigfoot, like, sirens, mermaids, all that sort of stuff, it comes from somewhere, I think, Now, this next video is really interesting because it connects to, like, the ancient Egyptians, okay, and the mummies and all that sort of stuff, and why they look like what they look like. This is really interesting.
One race of the Chitauri, the ones that are called Nomo.
The Chitauri are basically the reptilians, by the way.
Or Nomo, by the Dogoni people, are depicted as having beard-like growths of the same type that look like the beards of Egyptian pharaohs. They are shown having, it is said that when a Chitauri gets very old, after tens of thousands of years, he or she develops a bone-like growth under the chin, which twists around like the horn of that kind of fish-like creature I saw in Europe in a picture called a narwhal. And this thing curls up this way. Now,
if you didn't hear what he just said there, he says basically when the Chitaol, the reptilians, when they get older, like thousands of years old, they start to grow this bone-like structure on their chin that gets longer. Okay.
Now, Egyptian pharaohs used to wear beards like that, and some African kings wore beards like that, real beards or even false beards made out of ivory or out of the tusk of a warthog. And there was a time definitely in history, sir, when African kings as well as Egyptian pharaohs went out of their way to imitate the appearance of the Chitauri. Queens like Nefertiti had their faces misrepresented by the court painters. They looked exactly like the Chitauri as near as possible. The high cheekbones, the drooping chin, the unusually large head. African sangomas, African inyangas, ancient Egyptian pharaohs, all of them used to wear headdresses that made their heads look much larger than they actually were. If you look, say, at the crown, certain crowns worn by Egyptian kings, the whole head, the crown, is intended to be an extension of the pharaoh's head to give the pharaoh an appearance of above average intelligence. In Africa, we had kings who favored headdresses made out of the scrotums of elephants or rhinoceroses or even buffaloes. A scrotum which was dried and made bulbous and worn on the head by the king to make his head look larger than it was. And lastly, in ancient Greece, at the time when Greece reached the great heights in its culture and civilization, the great ruler Pericles used to wear a special soldier's helmet with a bulbous skull, a helmet which made his head look much bigger than it really was.
Do they still do that today? Are there still African traditions that do that today?
Yes.
So this sort of like connects to what he first said, where he's like, yes, we can give you things, but you need to worship us. Was that their way of worshipping them by, imitating them, by trying to look like them, to saying, yes, you are the ruler, you are the gods, This is madness.
Yes, sir. Yes. Very much so. And in America, some Native American shamans used to wear a special head made out of the head and the horns of a buffalo, which also made
their heads look bigger, right? Wow, what? So this next video is Alex Collier, I can't remember how you pronounce his name, but this is where it's just going off of how we were speaking earlier about how they feed off of fear. But he actually says that they're not. It's other beings that feed off of fear. These lot feed off of blood, okay, and flesh, which gets into really weird, horrible stuff. But listen to the way he says here.
Reptilians feed off our fear. Is that true?
The Greys do and the Orions do. The Reptilians tend to live off flesh. That's not an area I like to go into much. But according to the anomalins, the last 25 years, the reptilians that are on the planet are responsible for over 30,000 children disappearing. I get in a lot of trouble when I talk in full circles about this.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like this sort of shit. Like it. It's so horrible to think about. And the thing is, right? the more I've looked into this over the years, the more I've sort of become to realize that there are dark areas of the world, so dark it's like a black hole, of where I don't like to delve into. And this is sort of like, this is tapping into that area, and I don't like it. The reason being is because I have a suspicion, a sneaky suspicion. It's whatever what's coming out recently about the Epstein files and stuff like that, that dark shit does really happen. Now, this either backs it up and talks about reptilians doing it, or the subject of reptilians basically makes a mockery out of a very serious subject, right? Or it's not true whatsoever. Yeah, you get sickos, and the old one or two sickos out there are going to do anything, right? So there's a few things. I'm torn, but let's just hear it out.
You can't talk about that, Alex. Why not? In Westchester County, New York, in the last 3 years, 5,000 children have disappeared without a trace.
In New York?
Westchester County, New York. George Andrews, E.T. Friends and Foes, he's got a huge section in his book on that. And nobody wants...
Because, yes, like, we can't deny there is child, like, trafficking, right? There is that in the world, unfortunately. But are you using the reptilians as an excuse to push an agenda? You know? It's like, this is why I want you to, like, I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Let's talk about it. You know, denial is the dragon we all have to slay right now. It isn't Lucifer, it isn't Satan, it's denial. Denial of our own divinity and responsibility. Yes, sir.
Is the missing people or children who disappeared just Draconians, or are other races taking children just for other purposes to take them back?
Greys have done extensively taken children as well. A lot.
The text said Grace, but he said Grey, right? The Grey aliens.
A lot of them are on their motherships. A lot of the children were taken to Phobos, which is also an artificial satellite, and they've been
an artificial satellite. Basically, is meaning the moon being a natural satellite.
Experimented on. The planet as a whole, over 100,000 people a year vanish without a trace. On the planet. They figure 25,000 in the United States on average. Just disappear without a trace.
So, like, on the back of that, there's something else which is scary to think about, to hear, but, you know, I want you to listen to it anyway, if you can, with me. Listen to this.
Do you know that reptilians and Draco, the blood sacrifices, the whole Luciferian thing, the kids being killed and eaten, I mean, that humans have been eaten and taken off planet, et cetera, and used for slaves in other colonies, etc.?
I hate to say that, but that's far worse than what you've just said.
It's far worse.
Yes, far worse.
Far worse, yeah.
And that, the whole blood situation it's unbelievable. And
right.
I don't know how we say that to the public. I don't know how. But wait a minute, just a second. On that part of this whole subject, to me, if we get into that, and I know all about it,
all right,
far more than,
sure,
all right,
I'm sure.
when we get into that, if we release it, 70-80% of everybody that listens to your program is going to say, you're smoking pot. I don't believe that, and I don't believe anything you people talk about on extraterrestrial. And it's going to kill what disclosure is trying to do. That's my opinion.
The pedophilia
Christ, he was talking about disclosure then. This looks well old.
Is starting to be exposed everywhere. You know that much.
Yeah, but you know the part that I don't want to talk about.
I hear you.
So here's a picture here. Reptilian statue dedicated to an ancient reptilian god named Morop in Peru. Credit Atlas Obscura. What the hell? The statue represents a blend of ancient lore and modern art, drawing attention for its resemblance to mythical reptilian creatures and fueling speculation regarding ancient interactions with unusual beings. When I saw, right, I at the top here, I've got loads of tabs of what I want to show you. And there was one clip that I didn't want to show because I thought it was a little bit too much, right? But after seeing this, the scales here and everything, I've got to show you.
Body of a reptilian. One of the richest men in the world owns this corpse right here. So I give you a hint. He's the fourth richest man in the world. How he acquired these bodies, I do not know. Well, I do know you are looking at footage you are not supposed to be seeing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like, I don't know. It's way out there, man. It's way out there. Now, here's another gentleman. Don't know who he is. This is on X. Red Pill Bot says the Earth is manipulated by alien species you can't see.
Human race is being misled by alien life forms who have come here from another place, who are smarter than we are, technologically superior, just way down the road, smarter than you'll ever be. And they know how to run civilizations, and they know how to start religions and governments. They call the shots because they have powers we don't have. Human sacrifice is a very powerful, real, legitimate, not of this world magic. And those people who are running Hollywood are connected to things you don't know anything about. And they have the power now to manipulate the world with motion pictures and television.
Who's orchestrating that in Hollywood?
All of that is being orchestrated out of Hollywood. But it's not because these people are so clever and resourceful and talented. No, they are connected to a power that is not of this world.
But can we put a name to that higher power?
Well, I call it the spirit world.
Is that the Archons?
Yeah, the Archons. Yeah.
And the Muslims call them the jinn.
Yeah, that's exactly right, the jinns. And the Christians call them demons and devils. The Jews call them a different name.
So they are spirit beings.
Yes, they're spirit beings. And they're
not physical.
Not physical. They're spirit beings. They can work through reptilians.
And some reptilians and other alien species are physical and some are non-physical.
That's exactly right. But you need to understand that there is all over the earth a domination of the human family, of humans, by extraterrestrial or other world entities that you can't see.
Now, on the topic of children going and reptilians, this is quite strange. This is a Epstein survivor saying about that she saw Epstein turn into a reptilian, shapeshift. Listen to this.
Epstein shift in front of my eyes. It was very, very frightening. I saw Epstein shift in front of my eyes. It was very, very frightening. It was like a weird hologram and it had like big black eyes. It was like reptilian, draconian, alien sort of thing. And it's just something that I had to explain to myself because I saw him turn into something. You know, it's not an easy thing to talk about because I can understand that a lot of people wouldn't understand it if they haven't seen it. But I saw it. And, you know, I'd like to be lie detected on it. I'd actually love to be lie detected on it.
Jesus, man, what the hell? And then there's a speculation about, remember that woman on the plane years and years ago that freaked out and she went completely viral? Word is she saw a reptilian on that plane.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two fucks, but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can fucking die with them or not. I'm not going to. Bye.
And then also, do you remember when I spoke about Robbie Williams? What he said?
Let me tell you this, right?
Yeah.
Take of this what you like.
Yep. Yeah.
I was in bed with a woman, and that's it. That's the end of my story. No, I was in bed with a woman, right? I'm lying on the pillow, and I'm looking at her face, right? Her face turned into what I could only describe as a reptilian.
Oh, listen.
My face went, oh my God. She looks at me and she says, I'm not a reptilian. Boom!
He's not the only one. Britney Spears.
I went with this one guy, and he looked like a lizard. I was so scared. He was sitting beside me, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, holy shit, he looks just like a lizard, and I picked it up. It was really bad.
So you just left? Wow.
Again, very strange. The Pfizer CEO is a reptilian, really?
Now I think with this announcement, we are making this dream reality.
Many of your medicines, we know from the COVID vaccine, very effective, very welcome. The logistics around that vaccine were not straightforward because of the new technology. Many of your medicines, we know from the COVID vaccine, very effective. No, from the COVID vaccine, very effective, very welcome. The logistics around that.
Now I think with
that's weird. I think he was going like like agreeing, but every time he agreed, he just went I can't do it. I can't do it. Now, apparently, the most biggest giveaway for spotting a reptilian is the eye. Right, it goes in like a reptilian eye, like a little slice, like a snake eye. Look at this. He's a lizard reptilian on live news. Eyes shape-shifting caught live on camera.
Bro, his eyes shape-shifting, bro. Y'all see it. We gotta talk about this, bro. Bro, this is crazy.
I mean, okay, that could have been some sort of reflection of some sort, maybe. I'm not too sure. But again, my argument is, does he know he's a reptilian? He got the job somehow. He must have had a previous job. He must have had school photos. He must have been, like, has photos of him as a baby. Did his parents know that he was a reptilian? It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if there are reptilians in the world, they must have to be just placed here, or at a later stage turned to. Because if they're born, I'm sure the hospital and doctors and that are going to be like, we got something different here, guys. You know? There's something wrong with your child. What's this governor? Kathy Hochul.
All New Yorkers that we are heading into a very, very dangerous weather event that is into months.
Okay, that's a bit tough because it's bad quality. Let's try and find something a little bit more, clearer, I suppose. CGI? AI? Like, who is this? A reptilian humanoid hybrid? Talk about reptilian humanoid hybrid. Listen to this.
Well, the other third type that got mentioned on mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the line. Shut up, don't say that, is what they were doing.
They don't want to talk about the reptilians.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites and the grays being in the lab environments. You know, not a lot, but some. But these reptilians, it was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Was there any sort of an explanation that anybody give you of why they don't want to talk about it?
No. The only time I got any inkling was that when I, was out of the program and other people started to talk to me about all the different, things. And they're like, well, how many races are there? I don't know. But some people talked about the reptilians. They're like, do you realize that these are evil? And I had to listen to that.
And the thing is, we don't know if it's because of their appearance. You would assume something that's reptilian is maybe a demon or whatever, and a Nordic, where the blonde hair, blue-eyed.
What the hell, mate? This is what I'm saying. I got to show you this one because this is actually quite funny in a way. I showed you this on a video that I did of like top weird things. This guy here.
Reptilian Secret Service agent in HD, and they didn't deny anything. In 2013, this footage was live streamed on television while Obama was making his speech. People noticed a weird looking Secret Service agent with green skin, and people noticed how non-human he looked, even with the color change filter on. And then when the government was confronted about having reptilian beings in the government, this is what they said to the public. Check this out, I can't confirm the claims made in this video, but any alleged program to guard the president with aliens or robots would likely have to be scaled back or eliminated in the sequester. This was said by the spokesperson for the National Security Council. I literally looked for this video everywhere and couldn't find it. The only place it actually exists now is Reddit. Even websites that claim to have it, it's just a blank space like the video was taken off. This is obviously a non-human being and looks like a reptilian humanoid, and he probably is a newbie and got in trouble for failing to hide his identity while on camera.
The reason why I just show you that, right, okay, because this person here, now I don't know whether it was or not. I have a sneaky suspicion it was. I don't know why, just maybe a gut feeling. But when I did the video of top weird thing, I don't know what it is. Maybe you guys can help me there. I haven't got a clue. There's so many of these videos. But out of pure chance and coincidence, in comments, and you can go, if you find the video, you can see in the comments, that person right here, this bodyguard, says in the comments something like, laugh out loud or ha ha ha, that's me. He says, that's me. I've had it all my life. I promise you I'm not whatever. Or I've just always looked like that. You know, basically making light out of it. You know, just saying, hey, look, like, that's me in the video. I'm sorry I look like that or something like that, you know? And I hearted it. And I think I may have pinned it to one of my videos. So go and check it out, right? Because it's quite interesting. Now, let's speed up now to, you know, we're talking about humanoid hybrids and stuff like this. This is very interesting because Representative Burchett says he cannot comment on former Rep Matt Gaetz revealing he was briefed on an alien hybrid breeding program while in Congress. Listen to this one. This is now getting up to modern day.
Former colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could...
We're breeding with humans. Like the South African Zulu guy said.
Engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that
Let's listen to that again.
Captured aliens were breeding with briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
All right. I mean, you know, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering.
This is where it gets really, like, serious.
You know, kind of how you react to that, because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
So wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago. And it would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would demand answers. And we need to. But, you know, it's never going to get, unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up and covered up, and the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal, and I don't take risks.
I'm glad you said that. I'm speechless, Congressman.
Well,
We will have you back.
You should be. And I
I
told
am.
the president, release it all. And the problem is the people that are around the president don't know and the president doesn't know the questions to ask. A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, you know, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out there.
You got my attention, Congressman. I appreciate you being as forthcoming as you have been tonight, and we look forward to having you back. Look, I know Donald Trump wants to disclose something. He hasn't done it yet, but I think he wants to be the president to do that. Tim Burchett, thank you.
He does.
So that was Tim Burchett saying that. Bloody crazy, mate. Like, what's going on, man? What is going on? Is it part of the sort of the push for an agenda to say there's alien species out there? There's alien species here in the world. Is it like fear mongering again? You know, is it just wild imaginations? Is it real? I don't. It's a little bit scary. I think that it's maybe part truth mixed with mythology, a need and a want for answers that we can't and won't have. I don't know. I really don't know. What do you think? I really appreciate you watching and getting to the end of that. I've thoroughly enjoyed making this video. I hope you liked it as well. Anyway, tell me what you think. Thank you so much. And if you like what you saw, please remember to subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.